Beth Ann.
What's up? I'm Ayla.
This is Let's Talk BL, a Boys Love podcast.
Welcome to 2023. Welcome back to the podcast. Let's Talk BL. We're still in season 3. We haven't. It's still the same here.
Yes.
Nothing has changed here. It's still
season,
chaos.
Same season, new year.
Same chaos.
Who knows what
stupidity?
What 2023 will bring us?
2023. Listen, not to like spoil my own podcast, but like 2023, y'all.
2022.
You'll understand in like a hot minute, but like, and no, I'm not talking about January.
2022 started out with Omen and None.
It did.
Like, and y'all, we don't plan these things.
No,
like,
things just happen to us.
We put in requests.
No, we do work. And
no, but we don't plan the timing of it.
Oh no,
because
that's true.
Here's the thing: we've told this story before. We sent him an email for Omen and None in August,
and we ended up getting them in January.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, the timing. Sometimes we request for an interview and we get it like the next day.
Yeah,
but most of the time it's like a week or two. And then sometimes you have to wait like a month, and you're like, "Oh my god." We have to wait a month. Anyways, so 2023.
We have a lot of shows coming out. And so on the past few episodes of the podcast, we've talked about like the big shows that are coming out in 2023. And we also have done an episode in the past, like a long time ago, season 1.
Yeah.
Where we talked about tropes and BLs.
Right.
And we were talking about this the other day where I was like, honestly, my BL journey has felt so crazy to me because something just hit me where I was like, I remember sitting there watching like Yin War content and sitting there watching like very specific content. And I was like, my BL world when I started this was so small.
Yeah.
And I was
BL
just
world
like
felt so small.
Thinking about how fast things have felt like they've moved in the past couple years.
Right.
And I have heard from like veteran BL watchers that like the past 2 years has felt very quick for BL. Like things have changed. Things have like been coming out. And so we thought, well, with like this year's new shows, tropes are changing. So maybe it's time to shake up the tropes episode and redo this episode a little bit.
Yeah, I got into BLs in August of 2020. And I will say, we've talked about this before, that BL timelines make zero sense.
None.
Because the fact that last year we were introduced to like Jung Dunk and Cutie Pie.
Right. Z Nunu was 2022. Like, what?
That makes no... We were still getting Z Saint stuff in 2021.
Yeah. It like, the timeline feels fake. Like, it feels fake. Like, it doesn't feel real. Like, this isn't real.
Tarn
feels
Type feels like
fake.
a lifetime ago, but it ended in 2021.
Yeah.
And then, like, I feel like we've known Joffer first for forever, but we just got them in 2021.
Oh, yeah. And only barely in 2021 because we got them as a part of Tarn Type. But Don't Say No was 2022. Yeah? No, it was 2021. See, time isn't real. Time isn't real.
Also,
really? Wait, hold on.
Also, because
Joffers haven't been on my screen outside of Remember Me since 2021. Is that real? That doesn't feel real. That feels fake.
Let me tell you, because remember we talked about the fact that we interviewed them a year ago. We interviewed them in November of 2021 because we got Nun in
January.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god.
I know. Don't Say No was August.
The timeline is fake.
August 2021 to October 2022.
Time isn't real. Time isn't real. Time is a social construct.
Because I also was like, Not Me was like mid 2022, and no, it was December of 2021, and
doesn't feel real. That specifically feels fake to me.
Not Me was on top of Bad Buddy
and You're My Sky. I think that's what really like confuses me in this is that Not Me was running at the same time as You're My Sky.
June Mai Ka
Fa. And for some reason in my brain, Not Me is just like Not Me is eternal, I guess, in my brain. I'm like, it's still airing. Like, in my heart, Not Me is still on air.
Eternal. Like, I was like, I thought, I've been having hearing issues lately. I've been, like, hearing things that aren't being said. And I thought you said it's eternal. Because obviously
you're thinking about God.
Yes.
Yeah. I love this for me that I've, like, invaded your brain.
Anyway,
I love this for me. We had a whole conversation about God's feet the other day. This is a true thing that happened to us.
I feel like you should say that. Please don't ever say that again.
I'm not gonna give anyone any context either.
my
Do with that what you
Oh my god. Moving on.
do with that what you will.
I know. I feel like we need to revisit some episodes that we did in the first season because
There are a couple that we're redoing. We're redoing one very popular one from last season. I'm not gonna tell you when it's coming though, but it's coming.
because I feel like I've seen a handful of people be like, I just got into BL, I'm learning things, this is all new to me. And I remember when we first got into BL, when I first got into BL, and I was like, oh my god,
This is so confusing. There's so much.
I just remember not even knowing what CP meant.
I literally remember being like, I do not have room for more boys. Like in my heart, in my mind, because I'm a K-pop stan, and specifically my alt group
Little
has
did you know.
9 members. Originally was 10 members. So like that plus all my other K-pop groups, I was like, yeah, I don't have time for this. I can't.
Well,
And
conveniently, our alt group keeps losing members.
How dare you?
I'm so sorry.
He's just on a competition show.
He's just going through stuff.
He's just backstage. Okay, like we used to say when he was enlisted, he's just backstage.
No.
He's just backstage.
Oh.
How dare you? First of all.
Anyways, so yeah, when we first did the tropes episode, I was like, what is a trope? Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, I remember. So I went and like re-listened to that episode because I am really curious to see what we both came up with is so what we're going to do is talk about our predictions for the main tropes that we're going to see in 2023 because it seems like every year there's like a handful that are like the top tropes because we know there's like a ton of tropes across all media. And so I was like, oh, I want to know what we talked about back in season 1 and like how we see it and what we like analyze now. And literally at the beginning of that episode, you read the definition of a trope. You were like, just in case somebody doesn't know.
I mean, I think that's important and interesting because a lot of things in pop culture, we tend to change the actual literal definition.
Right.
And so it's good to go back to like the foundation and be like, what exactly is a trope? Like, because I think I knew as somebody who works with children and has to explain things that I know in my daily life, it's always good to be like, wait, there's certain things in my life that I know that I've always known, but I don't actually know how to explain it to somebody.
Right.
And so to be like, I know what a trope is, I had to kind of remind myself what it was.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited. I feel like 2022 felt like a turning page for BL. Like a lot of things.
I don't know.
Changed.
A lot happened, I feel like, in the BL world in 2022. But
so much.
I feel like a lot happens in the BL world all the time. And so like, especially because like we have listeners who I have like fascinating conversations with who like talk about how they have been watching BL. So like Trevor, for example, who's a friend, talks about how like he's been watching BL since before there were subs, right? Like there wasn't even subs and like it wasn't actually available anywhere, right? And it was like he had to like hunt it down and it was like, you know. So like for him, when he talks about it, he's like, BL has grown leaps and bounds every year compared to where we started. But I think now that we've been in this enough years to have more than just 1 year to compare it to, I agree. I think 2022 has seen like a real expansion of BL in like the international audience. And I think that's why it feels so insane to us but like doesn't feel as insane to other groups of fans.
Right. Okay, let's get started.
Tropes.
What are you going to start with?
Okay, my number 1 trope that I think that we're going to see in 2023 is friends/enemies with benefits.
Oh, yes.
So, like, I think we're going to see so much of this. It already started a little bit in 2022 with, like, Big Dragon, for example. We were, like, a friends/enemies with benefits. And so I think we'll get not just friends with benefits, but also enemies with benefits. We're like, I don't really like you. We're just, like,
or like
you
hate
know.
banging.
Right. But, and it, like, we like it and it feels good, but I don't actually like you as a person kind of thing.
Right.
Or friends with benefits where it's like, no, we're just friends, but, like, you know, let's bang one out, but like I don't want to be with you. I think we're going to see so much friends or enemies with benefits, or maybe both.
Which is what we're seeing with like bed friends and
only friends.
And
I feel like we're going to get a handful of like, you know, the little ones that haven't quite been announced yet. I feel in my heart that we've moved on from like secret banging.
Star Hunter likes to do a little side couple of.
Right. Okay. Yes. So we saw this in Gen Y as well. So that was way back in 2021 where this began. Right. So like you saw it here and there, but I
Right.
feel like we're just going to get a lot of it in
More.
2023 because
Right.
I think that, and everybody knows I'm like a clutch my pearls kind of girl.
Yeah.
But I think that BL is going to sort of like embrace the spice, but like in a healthy way.
Yes.
Because the whole conversation, like a lot of production companies have come out and been like, it's not about the NC scenes and like made a whole like
Right.
thing about it. And so, but at the same time, like a lot of the BL audience is now saying like, no, you're right. We get it. It's not about the NC scenes, but that's real life, right? Like real life is NC.
I think that BL finally got to a place where they realized, yes, sex sells, but baseless sex doesn't sell.
Right.
Crappy
we have seen
sex
a couple
doesn't sell.
Yeah, very spicy series that crashed and burned.
Yes. And so I think that was the thing that they had to get to, where they had to have a handful of just straight up spicy BLs with basically no chemistry between the leads, just two leads who were willing to go all the way, and those didn't hit. And they realized you can't pander to an audience, that there has to be substance. And yes, there's a good portion of the audience that like likes the spice.
Yeah.
But there has to be substance to a series, or else people are going to watch it, but it will quickly crash and burn because
people won't remember it.
Right. And we know, I mean, they'll remember it, but not
in a poor light.
Yes. But what we know is that you need for your show to have longevity, because you need for your actors to have longevity for them to continue on to the next thing.
And you need there to be a relationship there for ship work, which this is not a conversation we're having in this episode, but ship work in a responsible way is it's a fun part of the thing. Like it can be fun if you do it responsibly.
Yeah.
And so it like, in order for like the fans to be on board with the ship, like fans want to see, I want to see a storyline, a relationship, a reason for them to have had chemistry, not just that they can like kiss each other on the mouth. So
yeah,
I think that BL is going to start embracing the spice, but in a healthy way, and not necessarily like, because I feel like a lot of the spicy storylines have always been framed in almost like a negative light. And I think that that's where a lot of this like friends with benefits / enemies with benefits is going to come into play, that like people can be nuanced.
Yes.
Right. And so I just think we're going to get a lot of it.
On that same note, clutch your pearls, girl, because I do think we're going to get a little bit more spice in 2023, along with what we got introduced to in 2022, which was a little more nudity and a little more tongue.
So what's the trope there?
I think we're just going to get a little more pushing the boundaries of within the spice. I think that we are just going to get spice in general.
But like, what's the trope?
I don't think that the trope is that like,
because the trope is like a repeated pattern across.
Right. That like we're going to get more just like boundary pushing spice. Like I think that's the trope, is that like there's more boundary pushing spice within like what you're saying with like friends with benefits, like messy interpersonal relationships outside of relationships,
right?
Which will be fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more real, and I just think it's going to be really interesting.
Another thing that we got introduced to in 2022 is the idea of a Playboy going so soft,
right,
and so sweet. And I feel like we're going to get a lot of that with, again, it goes to what you were saying at the beginning with this whole like friends.
But was that introduced in 2022? Now that I've just been reminded that Don't Say No is 2021, because although Fiat had already turned his page by the time but that was Fiat in Tarn Type,
right? Yeah, I think it's been around for a while, but I think the trope of Playboy going soft but totally unproblematic,
so like Secret Crush on You,
has become like Peepaw in Love in the Air. And who else was the other?
I mean, Peepaw in 2 Moons, / 2 Moons 2.
And so, but going like unproblematic, because I feel like before 2022 we had a lot of Playboys going soft, but holding on to their weird like Playboy personality, where they were like a little too forceful.
So like Mancorn and Big Dragon.
Yes. Yes. Where like it was a little too like toxic and forceful going into like what should be a healthy relationship, because it lacked communication. Because a lot of those Playboys lack the communication necessary for a healthy relationship. And so, yeah, I hope that we get more conversation around these development of relationships, from turning the page of like, I was this like Playboy who got all the guys and the girls. There's a lot of like bisexual Playboys.
Yeah.
They're like, I got all and that's another thing, we've gotten more bisexual representation in BL.
Yeah, for sure.
Which has been cool.
So my next trope that I think we're gonna see a lot of is boy has unreal medical condition / mystical problems / is enchanted in some way / right, like some sort of like issue with himself that is like medical and fake.
Yes.
Or he's enchanted or mystical, or like something has cursed him.
Right.
And other boy is the only cure for it. So like, I'm your cure, right? And like he's not really interested in him, but because he's the cure, he's like drawn to him. And so we have been introduced to this, for example, in Color Rush. Color Rush is a good example of this.
Yes.
So I think we're gonna get a handful of those this year, more so than we've ever gotten before, is my guess. Like we already know this is what's gonna happen in La Pluie.
Right.
Is like, this is the plot line.
We're getting it in bedtime.
And this is like
story.
It's the same thing. Like we also saw it introduced in not in Karn. One is
Dear
dead.
Doctor.
Dear Doctor. Yes, Dear Doctor, I'm coming for soul.
Yes.
So we saw it there. Like it's the same thing. Like this is the trope I'm talking about, where like one is mystical, magical / has some sort of fake medical condition, and the other one is the answer, is the cure.
I see. Yeah.
I don't know what you call that trope. Maybe we would just call it like the cure. I don't know.
The key.
Yeah.
Because like the
port key. We're going real Harry Potter.
Yeah, they like one has to fit.
Right. And he like unlocks his problems. I don't know.
It.
Yeah. I feel like we're gonna get a handful of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another trope that I feel like we're gonna see is going along with a lot of the marriage equality conversation that we got in 2022, is we'll have the couple that is the aspirational couple, that couple that's already gay and already out and have been together, because I feel like we rarely see that.
And we know we're gonna get this in
Hidden
the new
Agenda.
Hidden Agenda.
And I love that idea. We got it in I Long Nye with the dads.
Right, with Portia and Arm.
Yes.
Shout out Portia and Arm.
Yes.
Truly an aspirational couple in real life too, though. Like,
yes. And so I think because we're getting to a place in BL where, because I've seen a couple of shows lately, there's not a ton of conversation around the friends and family having issues with the gay.
Right.
There's a little bit still of characters trying to figure out what is gay. Like, am I gay?
Which is real life. Like, I feel like we're just always gonna have that, because that is real.
I mean, I feel like that's so like,
you're right.
From birth to death, you have moments where you're like, is gay, am gay. And so it's nice to have these moments in BLs where we're getting already established couples.
Right. Yeah.
Aspirational couples. Is it okay?
They're like is the trope that like they're the inspiration for the like baby gay?
Yes. The like mentor.
Yes.
The mentor couple.
Yes. I love it. Okay, so my last one for 2023 is that I think for the fluffy BLs, we're going to fall back hard into the like, I fell in love with him at first sight and have never spoken to him before, but I love him with my whole body, heart, and soul. And this is like an older trope that we didn't get it. The only one we got in 2022 was Secret Crush on You. Right. I feel like, first of all, Idol Factory is like,
They love that trope.
Yeah, like they are soothsayers. And yes,
They're doing it in Gap too.
Been their GL and their BL of this year. And I think that they are the trend makers. I think they are the trendsetters. And they had because I was so sus of Secret Crush on You. Like I was so sus. Like I was against it.
Because the fans, the people who liked it, did not make a good case for it.
And I think the reason is we were all stuck on that trope of like this love at first sight, but I've never spoken to him before is like cringy, right? Like in our brains, because the way it's been done in the past, like now y'all know
I can love you enough for both of us.
Right. Now y'all know I love 2 Moons 2 and 2 Moons, but like I'm especially go hard for 2 Moons 2. Yeah. This is the trope in 2 Moons / 2 Moons 2. But I love this show so much. It was done in a way where like you didn't really love that you loved it. Yeah. Right? Like you watched it and you were like, oh, I still do not love this. And so I think the reason why so many people were like, I like Secret Crush on You, but I don't know why. Because like in our brains we're like, I'm not supposed to like this trope. I'm not supposed to like this plot. Like it's so cringy. It's so bad. But I think because Idol Factory have done it and done it very well. I mean, Gap isn't over yet, but so far, like 10 out of 10, no notes. That I think the fluffy BLs are going to fall hard into that like old school. This is right. Like when like things from the 70s come back around and your parents are like, I wore that when I was your age, right? Like that kind of thing. I think it's going to be one of those situations.
Yeah, that'll be cute.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping now that you're talking about like almost old K-drama tropes that we can leave childhood trauma.
Yeah, a childhood trauma is something that I hope does not follow us into 2023. I am so over the childhood trauma trope. Like, what if we have like adult trauma? Adult trauma is real. Can we have college trauma?
We're getting
like if they insist on there being trauma, can it like not be deep-seated childhood trauma? Like, honestly, sometimes it just hits too close for me. Sometimes I'm like, I want to pretend that childhood trauma doesn't exist and this is not a thing. I'm like, can we move on, please?
Yes.
Like, I'm just super over it.
Yeah, my last one, I feel like that we have in some dramas that are airing now that we brought from 2022 is the poor little rich boy. The rich boy, and this goes along.
He's just going through something.
Yes. Yeah. This goes along with royalty and those kinds of things where, you know, he has some kind of elevated status in society, and he like meets the like lowly boy who
the prince and the pauper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively, that their love is kind of forbidden, but only in their minds a little bit. Like that's why I think I love that we've gotten to this place in BL that like the struggle isn't that we're two men in a relationship. The struggle is that like I am a wealthy person or I'm a prince and I want to be with this like lowly servant,
with the commoner, the peasants.
Yeah. I love it so much. 2023, my mind was blown with all the announcements. We haven't even gotten the Beyond Cloud announcement.
Right. There, and we know like throughout the year we're gonna get so many just like
one-offs.
Like the one-offs, the little ones, the new companies, or from like the smaller companies that did like one thing that don't necessarily have like a roster.
I can't wait to see what Star Hunter does, because
Boy Never Smiles.
Well, from Star Hunter.
Right, because Boy Never Smiles is a collab with another production.
We know we're getting Big Dragon 2. And we know that
Gad is in Big Dragon 2. Okay, my hope and dream for the trope of 2023 is that Gad is in everything. This is I'm going to manifest this for 2023. Gad in everything. This is the trope. Gad is the trope.
I mean, Gad is going to be in every episode of this, so
Gad is the trope.
Out of control. Okay, tell us what your tropes are that you are looking forward to, that you want to maybe stay in 2022,
that you want to leave behind, that we're like no more of this. I think I'm not gonna say what I think. That like there is one trope that we didn't talk about that should be very obvious to everyone that's me in 2023, but like you forget about it.
What is it?
And I want to know if anyone's gonna pull it, like be like, what about this one?
Is it based on a show that we've already like that's been announced?
Yeah, but they do this trope. So two shows have been announced that are gonna do this, but they do it in two very different ways. Like for two very but it's the same trope, but they do it in 2 completely different ways.
Interesting.
I just remember, I was like, wow, yeah, 2 shows are already announced using this trope, but they're doing it in 2 very different ways, and they're from different production companies, which I feel like is a sign that it's like a trend.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So
we'll talk about it off air. See if you can.
If you make it to this point, oh my god, 25 minutes! I love this for us. You guys, we've been working so hard to not give you like 1 million hour episodes because we know it's like tedious.
What are you talking about? People love to hear us talk.
Yeah. So if you make it to the 25th minute, DM us, and we'll tell you what this trope is we're thinking of. How about that?
2023, based on 2023 just feels like wide open spaces is coming to mind.
Yes.
Like
room to make a big mistake.
So many big mistakes.
The mistake would be not putting God in everything, and that's what I will say.
I
can't tiki-taka-ta.
Not wait. That's so apropos to the next episode. I can't wait to talk T-pop.
Oh, right.
Oh my gosh.
I was so confused.
The schedule. You don't even know what it is.
I was so confused. I was tiki-taka-ta.
We do a whole episode on tiki-taka-ta. Then no one will want to listen to us.
Everyone will be like, please.
Go stream tiki-taka-ta. If you're a Let's Talk BL fan and you haven't streamed tiki-taka-ta at least 5 times, can you call yourself a Let's Talk BL fan?
I mean, you can if you still love Sia.
True. Who will be our additional?
I was going to say Sia forever. Sia never not
No.
Sia.
Because here's the thing. When we started this journey, you have always had like that one true boy.
Always. War one or Ratsumira. Thank you.
And I have had like kind of boys come and go. There's never been one true boy until Sia. Like I cry regularly over Sia.
He's so perfect.
As well as Louis. I don't want to talk about it. And Todd has become top tier of like the boys that I just like on a daily basis. Like it takes everything in me not to story about him daily, that he's so cute, that I love him, that I want him to be successful.
Do you think that there are any like actors, boys, people on the horizon that could be? Because I can think of one person that has been top tier for you since day one that you didn't even mention.
Since day one?
R.I.P. Pour one out for my lost homie. It's so sad because he drank you drunk.
Oh my gosh. Copter was an OG.
He drank. Yeah, you drunk.
I mean, if you
haven't listened to, is it He Drink or She Drink?
He Drink,
She Drunk. If you've not listened to this song, it actually is a masterpiece. I didn't understand in the beginning. I didn't understand, and now I understand.
I can't wait for this new BKC single. They've been teasing it for forever.
I know.
What? Star Hunter.
Star Hunter.
Come on.
If you're listening, you're not.
You're not.
They're not. But yes, are there any people on the horizon that?
The first name that came to mind when you asked that was Chimin.
Oh, I mean, Chimin has kind of been in the back of your brain for forever because literally we were in Bangkok. You made me go into a movie theater and you were like, let's find Chimin's poster.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where if you love, and Chimin was a BL boy, which I've actually never watched his BL content. I didn't even watch those episodes of Our Sky. But y'all, I
did accidentally, because when I watched Our Sky, I didn't like understand what it was.
Yeah, you were confused.
I thought it was just like one show, and I just like kept watching, thinking it was all gonna make sense in a minute. Yeah.
I called Perth Chimin from the beginning.
You did. You were like the first proponent of Perth Chimin.
Yes. And
I have told everyone that.
And so Chimin, I feel like I watched that commentary that Piaf did with all his like director producer friends, and he was like, Chimin is making his BL comeback, which I love that that's what he said. He's like, he's making his BL comeback.
Piaf gets it. Piaf knows.
He's coming home, and he needed somebody to match his acting, and he needed somebody to match his energy. And y'all, when I tell you Perth,
Jimin has the cutest, sweetest energy. I recommend watching Jimin and He's Coming to Me.
Yes.
Chimin's storyline and He's Coming to Me
I
is
did
really
go crazy
excellent.
over Chimin in that.
Chimin's storyline and He's Coming to Me is really good. I mean, all of He's Coming to Me is really good. If you can go listen to that series Sunday. I have opinions.
If I ever look Chimin in the face,
you said that about Louis once though, and you did that.
I don't know how. I blacked out.
See, I haven't had to do any of my boys. Like I haven't had to have that experience.
Right, because you had your God Awakening after.
And I was literally beside myself, like I didn't pay any attention. Like I was like tunnel vision hard eyes for Bank Tanner the whole time. And so like literally I held God's hand. This happened to me and I didn't remember. I like blacked it out. I wouldn't believe it if there wasn't like a TikTok of it.
Right.
So like it's frustrating for me. I frustrate myself. And then Sia, the thing about Sia is that like I did love him the minute I saw his stupid face, because I remember going to that You're My Sky interview, that first one, and I was like, Sia.
Yeah, in that interview, you're like, yeah, stop being so cute.
I did. I literally stopped and I was like, Sia,
like
please.
Some other boy was talking.
Yeah. And Sia was being cute. And I was like, Sia, I really need you to calm down.
We
argued over who was going to get to do his Lost in Translation. That was why, if you watch that interview, we were like, we're going to do a random draw. It was the only way we could think to make it fair for who would get Sia. Like, that was the reason we did that. Not for funsies. Like, it was literally for that. So I did have to go through this with Sia, but still to this day have not managed, and for probably good for me and my heart and my soul and like my life, that I haven't gotten to talk to War, because I do think I would just expire.
2023 it's gonna happen.
I would just drop dead. Like I wouldn't be RIP me. Like yeah.
Also,
so Jimin, you think is coming for you in 2023, is being added to your top tier lineup.
He already is. I just want Todd to be more famous. If you haven't watched Ghost House, go watch it now.
It's a great show.
Yeah, Jimin I think will be at the top of the list. Do you have one that you got your eye on?
Who I think will be like added to the like War, Siak, Gad.
Yes.
Holy Trinity.
Yes.
To my Holy Trinity.
In BL world, like you can't pick the boys.
Yeah, they come for you.
Yeah, because like
there's just something that like clicks for me. It's always been something that clicked on like a personal level, where like War's personality, like that's what got me. Is I was like, he's so weird. I love him so much. And like that's a little bit what happened with Sia and a little bit what happened with Gad. Okay, so maybe if you know of a weird boy, like send him my way.
We're gonna end on that, because I feel like this should be a whole episode of us just screaming like, how do you pick your BL bias?
Should that be if you want that to be an episode? I kind of want to do it anyways. We might do it anyways. But if you want that to be an episode, just let us know.
Our journey with our BL biases. And yeah. Stay tuned.
This has been Let's Talk BL. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and keep up with all things Let's Talk BL at Let's Talk BL.